When I started my entrepreneurship journey, there was many things that needed to be fixed in order me to, keep going forward and actually see results. But these things weren't like practical. I did the work. I used to do the things every single day. I was consistent. I was persistent. Everything. But these 5 things that I'm about to tell you were kind of mental things that I didn't have when I started. And the first 6 months I didn't have this, or at least most of those things. So here are the 5 mindset shifts that you need to change in order you to, actually see results. So the number 1 thing was to accept the failure as a learning opportunity and not a setback. Because, I always used to get angry when I put money on wrong things. I did something, I bought like an asset or something, and it didn't work out. So I basically just, spent money. But it still wasn't the wrong, decision, because, those were the things I needed to do. So now, I just kept, spending until, it worked, it clicked. But first, when this happened, I used to think it as an thing that is keeping me from succeeding. But then with time, I realized it's just a good thing. But failure doesn't mean you will be successful, because, I used to see failure when I looked at things where I have failed at. When I started, I used to think that, I will succeed 100% because I've had so many failures. And that it's a sign that I will succeed. It's not a sign if you don't learn from those. And failure is not always a sign. It usually is, but every single failure you have, you need to learn from those. If you don't learn, you just get angry at things, or you just think that now because you've had so many failures, you can, chill a little bit and, think that, yeah, I've had so many failures, I will succeed. I used to do that. I used to, just to think that, this is going to happen simply because I've had those. But it's only when you don't focus on the failures, you just learn from those and you keep going. If you don't have any failures, you never actually have the true, real life experience on things, because you never had those. Everything is going correctly, and it never is, because if you don't have any failures, that means you're not doing things right. You're taking it, too carefully. You need to go 100% on things that you're actually doing. So number 2 is that focus on progression instead of perfection. I used to focus too much on perfection when I started. If one thing was off, at something, maybe I was, making a digital product, I don't do that anymore. But when I started with those, if something was off and it really wasn't, wrong, but I didn't like it, I did it all over again. So many times that it's perfect. And it really didn't make any, changes on how many emails I got. It was actually, it was free. So it was like, I get emails when people get this free digital product on whatever what it was. But I just, used to focus too much on perfection. Everything I did, if it was a little off, I changed it. And when I look back now, if I didn't focus so much, I could have made like twice the amount of digital products before I started e-commerce, because I still have those digital products and those work when when I'm at the phase when I actually can start to teach people about e-commerce and branded dropshipping. I have those digital products to help me right now to gather emails. When I did those things, if I would focused more on making more, I probably would have the twice amount of names on my email list. And when the time comes, the email list is super important when I'm trying to sell a digital product, course or something regarding to the e-commerce and dropshipping I'm going to teach in the future. So don't focus too much on perfection. Obviously you need to do things right, but if the things aren't totally wrong, and if you need to fix something that isn't totally wrong, but in order to fix it you need to change everything, don't do it. Just keep going forward and learn from those things. If something is a little off, now you know what to do to the next one, whatever you're doing. So don't focus too much on perfection. Just keep going, do things, and keep pushing forward. And also, one of the most critical things that people have in them that is stopping them from succeeding is that they wait to be perfect time, perfect situation. If there's something going on with your life, you have many things, maybe you're on a new job or something, so they wait the perfect moment to start. Just start messy, start broke, whatever. Just start, do something, even if it isn't the thing you wanna do, for the future, but you can start it right now. Start something else and learn from it, and maybe it can help you in the next thing you wanna actually do. The number 3 is that prioritize consistent action instead of motivation. Don't get me wrong, when people say that motivation, it doesn't help you anywhere, it's just, it does, but when it's combined with discipline. Only with discipline you can succeed easily. If you combine with motivation, it's even more easier to succeed, because you're just fully on that mode. But motivation isn't there always. I'm missing motivation most days, but I just have the discipline to keep going. But if you work on motivation, let's say you have motivation 3 times a week. Now you're doing work 3 times a week, or maybe you're doing every day, but you aren't fully going on the things when you don't have the motivation. And I know it's hard without the motivation, I get it. One of the hacks I actually do, it's not healthy, but I'm willing to do that now in this period of time, is that drink a lots of coffee. That will help me motivate myself. I just get so much energy, and just hype yourself up. Whatever you're doing, you're starting to work, you're opening your laptop, take a minute, hype yourself up and start doing things. It's not always gonna come through that, but try to do something. But still do the work if you don't have it. But obviously, if you can somehow have the motivation with the discipline, it's always better. The best way I have achieved discipline is just writing simple tasks you need to do every single day. You can have, like a notebook, depends on what you do. If you do same things every day, or like certain things that are the same, you can have a list of the same things you do each day. But my, actions are sometimes different. So I write every single day before I go to bed. I write, the next day's thing. And I have to do those things. And those things are, usually the most hardest ones, because the hardest tasks are usually the ones that push you forward the most. So, write things down, either things that you do every single day, or, changing things you need to do the next day, whatever you like. There's many methods to keep the discipline, keep the motivation. Just figure out something. But those are the things that work for me. Coffee, helping yourself up, and, setting up the tasks you need to do the next day. Number 4 is that see challenges as growth opportunities instead of obstacles. Setbacks are like failures, but setbacks can be also like you need to wait days for something to happen. You can't do much. When I started dropshipping, there was 24-hour waiting when I was setting up new Facebook pages, assets. I bought, ad accounts, everything. There's, waiting period. So, Facebook don't ban you from, doing things too quickly, because it's just flags their system. So there was times when I waited so much. But you need to have, patience in that. You need to, have it. And it's not actually, usually challenges, even if they are something that you can't do right now, waiting periods, they're part of the progress. You can think that, yeah, now I have to wait something. Other people didn't have those things. Yes, they did. You can see it as work, basically, because you can't do those things other way. When you're setting up your, the platform, you're setting up everything to succeed. In the beginning, it's just times when you need to wait on things. But that doesn't mean you just sit on a couch and wait. You just do something else. Prioritize your time. Do something always. Don't just wait. You can always do something. When I have had those moments of waiting many days or even weeks, it was almost a month before I really got the opportunity to run ads. I need digital products, about dropshipping, e-commerce, because it helps me in the future, because the real money is on info digital products. So, do something. Just do something. The number 5 is that believe success is a journey, not an overnight event. It can feel like an overnight success simply because, example, in dropshipping, once you hit that, winning product, you go like this. It's not like you choose one product, you stick with it, and it scales over time. In dropshipping, it's always like this. It's, it's straight line, and then it goes like this. It's always in e-commerce and dropshipping, it's like that. So basically, it's overnight success in that moment, but it's months and years of work without decent results. So you need to think, long term. You need to set up decent things. Don't, hop on and off on business models because you hear something makes you money more quickly. Stick with something you chose and you think actually works, and just do it. Just stick with it, because sticking with it and thinking long term is actually what makes you successful. Real success always takes time. It takes patience, persistent. So just live with it. Do the work and just think the next day as another day amongst the others. Just, it's the same day. It's not hard. You're working, you're sitting on your computer. How hard can it be? I know it's hard, to actually do the things but when you think about it as more like specific point, it's just sitting in your chair in front of your computer and you're just working. There's people who are in war and you can't even sit on your computer. That's embarrassing. One of the things that helped me the most, in this long-term thinking and, not, focusing too much on making money, as fast as possible. Obviously, I think like that I need to make as much money as fast, but I don't rush the process. I don't hop on new things that can make money more quickly. I just focus on making money as fast as I can, but I do things correctly. You need to celebrate the small wins you get on your journey. This is one of the most helpful things I learned and to do. Celebrate those small wins you get along the journey. Obviously, don't go partying, just work. But what I mean celebrating is actually, being proud of yourself. Actually hyping yourself up, maybe taking a 10-minute break and, just thinking that I'm the man or girl, that, I can actually make this happen. And just realizing that it's not out of your hand and it's actually not that far away, the success. The success, it's just, over the fence. And the fence is the work and, the hard times and, the failures and the learning and execution. That's all it needs. It's hard, but if you go through with that, you will succeed one day. Don't get too much attached when it's gonna happen. Just know it's going to happen. And that's the most important thing. But still act fast, don't rush. Act fast, don't rush. There's a difference. Rushing is doing things not as with you are not doing things with focus. You're just doing things because you heard you need to do things fast. Yes, you need to do things fast, but it usually means do things when you're supposed to do those things. When you're actually doing the thing, don't rush. Do it good, but don't chase perfection again. Just do the things you're supposed to do and just keep going. God bless everyone. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.